Hi everyone, welcome to my third session on Cisa, and this is again on domain 1. So before I proceed, I would request if you like my video to say like, and do please subscribe to this video so that you would be notified as soon as I post a new video on this. So moving along, we will be going through the domain 1, which is the further of what we saw yesterday, which is on business process applications and controls. So basically here we look at e-commerce. So e-commerce is nothing but the electronic means of buying and selling goods. It could be in the form of B2B, which is business to business, B2C, business to consumer, C2C, which is consumer to consumer, C2B, consumer to business, B2G, business to government, and C2G, consumer to government. Now we could have an architecture of single, that is a client based architecture, or a two-tiered architecture, which is a client server based architecture, or a three-tiered architecture, which contains of the web page, applications, and the database. The risks which go about in e-commerce. So we have a risk which talks about the confidentiality of the data. So it is, we are having confidential consumer data. Integrity, the fear of data getting altered either in transit or in static. Availability, data needs to be available under e-commerce for 24 hours 7 days a week. Authentication, so how do we authenticate? So transactions between two parties need to be authenticated. And non-repudiation, which means that the parties cannot deny the transactions that they entered into. And it also talks about power shift to customers. So what is the IS auditor's role in e-commerce? So some of the points which the auditor could review during auditing an e-commerce setup could be the interconnection agreements between the two parties, the security mechanisms. So if it's a PCI DSS setup, so you would be checking through the PCI DSS security mechanisms which are in place. Firewall mechanisms, how are the firewall rules set? Unique identity in transactions, how the unicity of the transactions, the identity is maintained. Logs, in case there is a disturbance or there is a failure somewhere, how would the recovery happen in that place? What are the various practices and procedures which are in place? And how is the data confidentiality maintained between the customer and the vendors? Regular program of audit and assessments which should be taking place. EDI. So EDI stands for electronic data interchange. So all mails fall under this category. Even the interchanges which actually happen electronically fall under this category. Again, here from an auditor's perspective, some of the points to check could be internet encryption processes. What are the encryption processes which are mentioned out there? How do invalid transactions get monitored? So there should be some edit check somewhere. Additional checks for transaction reasonableness and validity. Each inbound transaction needs to be logged. Each batch control totals need to be there. Segment count total needs to be there. This will actually give the confidence that yes, whatever data has come in is come in as a valid data, and validity of the sender against trading partner details need to be available. And EFT, so electronic funds transfer. So that is how nowadays we are actually transferring the funds. So again, if that process gets audited, the auditor should actually check through all communication linkages are properly tested. Each party uses the proper security procedures. Guidelines are set for receipt of data. Data encryption standards are set. Immediate acknowledgement happens upon data receipt, and regulatory requirements are set. So this is some of the points which the auditor could possibly check through when checking through and auditing an EFT system. So with this, we come to the end of this session on our domain 1. So watch out again for my next session, which should be again rolling over, and we will go further on domain 1.